Constructing angles 1. In this video, we will learn how to construct angles of different degrees using different types of tools: the protractor, the triangular set of squares, and the compass and the ruler. This is why the handout is divided into different boxes. On the first row, we will have to construct angles of 60 using the protractor, using the set of squares in this position, and finally the compass and the ruler. The next activity, the angle of 90 degrees, will be constructed using the protractor, set of squares, compass and ruler. Then we will construct the angle of 30 and finally the angles of 45 degrees. An angle is the space between two rays that have a common endpoint, the vertex. So the first thing we have to do to start constructing an angle is to draw one of the rays. A ray is endless in one direction and it has an endpoint that is going to be the vertex in the other position. When using the protractor, you have to place the center of the plastic circle on top of the vertex and you have to match the line 180, 0 with the given ray. You count the degrees to the left. Remember that an angle is positive when it goes counterclockwise direction. In the same direction of the 60 degrees measurement, you make a little stripe and then you just have to connect this mark with the vertex. This ray is endless in this direction. Use the compass to make a beautiful arc between the two rays and write the measurement in between. To construct an angle of 60 degrees using the set of squares, we have to start making the ray and the vertex. Then, with a triangular set of squares in this position, that is, using the 60 degrees angle in the 30-60 degrees triangle, we will construct the angle of 60. I will move slightly my 45 degrees triangle to a parallel position. I will put my angle of 60 degrees on top of the tool, and when I slide the edge of the tool with the side of 60 degrees, you draw the ray. This is a 60 degrees angle done with a set of squares. To construct a 60 degrees angle using the compass and the ruler, we make the baseline, the ray, and we set the position of the vertex. You open your compass any radius and you construct two arcs. Never mind how much you open the compass, if the two arcs have the same radius, the angle will be 60 degrees. The first arc intersects the rays at point 1. Set the point of the compass at 1 and make a second arc. This is point 2. When connecting point 2 with the vertex, you get an angle of 60 degrees. Construct a 90 degrees angle, that is, construct a right angle using the protractor. We construct the ray and we set the position of the vertex. Take the protractor, match the center of the circle with the vertex, and then the line 180, 0 with the ray. Get to the point at 90 degrees, make a little mark, and then connect this mark with the vertex with any straight edge tool. This is an angle of 90. There are two possibilities to name an angle of 90. You can make a little square here, which means already 90, or you can make a little arc with a dot inside. This is the other way I will use in the coming activity. To construct a right angle with a set of squares, there are many possibilities to move the tools, but all of them begin with the construction of a ray. I'll show you the one that is given in the activity. According to these instructions here, what you have to do is to put the 45 degrees triangle on top of the baseline. I will slide this slightly downwards, and then on top of this you will use the angle of 90 degrees of the 30-60 degrees triangle. You will slide it until you get to the vertex, and at that point you construct the line at 90 degrees. You can also label an angle of 90 degrees, making a beautiful arc and making a dot inside. This, in geometry, also means 90 degrees. An angle of 90 degrees done with a compass and the ruler is the construction of perpendicular at a point. We start making the ray and setting the position of the vertex. Open your compass, any convenient radius, and draw 4 arcs, all of them with the same radius. The first one from the vertex of the angle. This arc intersects the ray at point 1. Set the point of the compass at 1 and mark off. This is point 2. Set the point of the compass at 2. Make an arc that intersects the first arc at point 3. Set the point of the compass at 3 and make the fourth arc. When connecting the point 4, when the vertex of the angle, you obtain the angle of 90 degrees. The angle of 30 degrees. Construct a ray and set the position of the vertex. Match the protractor with the ray and the vertex with the center point. Measure counterclockwise direction until you get to 30 degrees. Make a mark in the direction of the protractor and then connect that point with the vertex. The space between the two rays is the angle of 30 degrees. Use the compass to make a little arc in between. To construct the angle of 30 degrees with a set of squares, you will start making the base ray and you set the position of the vertex. According to the instructions given, you have to fetch the angle of 30 degrees in the 30-60 degrees triangle, that is, this angle. You will set the position of the 45 degrees triangle on top of the ray. You will slide it slightly downwards to a parallel position, and then you will set the 30 degrees triangle on top of it. Slide it until you get to point O and mark the ray. This is the angle of 30. To make the construction of the angle of 30 degrees using the ruler and the compass, you have to construct the angle bisector of 60 degrees. So you will start constructing the angle of 60, and finally you will make the construction of its bisector. I remind you, an angle of 60 was done drawing two arcs with the same radius. Where the arc cuts the line, you set the point of the compass and you make a second arc. This is an angle of 60. I will make a dashed line because it's not the solution. We will construct the angle bisector of an angle of 60 to get 30. Put the point of the compass at 1 and make an arc. Exactly with the same radius, from point 2, you will construct a second arc. Where the two arcs intersect, connect the point with the vertex of the angle. This is the angle of 30 degrees. To construct a 45 degrees angle with a protractor, start drawing a ray and setting the vertex of the angle. Place the protractor on top of the ray, matching the line 180, 0 with the ray, and the center of the circle with point O with the vertex. Start counting. When you get to 45, between 40 and 50, just in between, you've got the 45 degrees. Connect that point with the vertex, and this is the angle we are looking for. Make a beautiful arc in between to mark the 45 degrees, and then write the measurement. To construct the angle of 45 degrees with a set of squares, this time you have to use the 45 degrees triangle on top of the 30-60 degrees one. Start constructing the ray, set the position of the vertex, slightly stool slightly downwards to a parallel position, and then place the 45 degrees triangle looking at the picture given. This is the angle of 45 degrees. Slide it and draw the ray. This is already 45 degrees done with a set of squares. To construct an angle of 45 degrees using the compass and the ruler, you have to construct an angle of 90 and then construct its bisector. Make the ray, set the position of the vertex, open your compass at any convenient radius, set the point of the compass at the vertex of the angle, and construct an arc. This arc intersects the ray at point 1. Set the point of the compass at 1, mark off point 2. Set the point of the compass at 2, mark off point 3. With the point of the compass at 3, mark off point 4. You don't have to change the radius. Connect point 4 with the vertex of the angle. I'll do it with a dashed line because this is not the solution. We are looking for the angle of 45 degrees. And I'm going to use the construction of this arc to construct the bisector again. So, attention, I will put the point of my compass at 1, and then I will set the point of my compass at point A to construct the bisector. Point A is the intersection of the line at 90 degrees with the first arc. Set the point of the compass at 1. It doesn't really matter the radius right now, as long as you keep the same length for the arcs from 1 and for the arc from A. This is the bisector. When I connect the vertex of my angle with the point where the two arcs intersect, this angle is already 45 degrees. This is the final appearance of the activity. In the first column, we have all the angles of 60 degrees. In the second one, all the angles of 90, then 30 and 45. The first row contains all the angles done with compass and ruler. The second row, all the angles done with a triangular set of squares, while the last one contains all the angles drawn with the protractor.